Hi everyone, welcome back to another segment of Weekend Update, specially updated for our Thanksgiving break. We're going to call it the Thanksgiving Update. And I'm Phil Odzinski here with Jake Alexis, sporting maybe the best article of clothing we've ever seen on the show.
I mean, I'll take that as one of the highest of compliments, Phil. I mean, I'm getting in the holiday spirit after Thanksgiving. Lots to be thankful for this season. Michigan football, not one of those, but fortunately, we're not a football show or a basketball show, and on that front, there's everything to be thankful for. So, really excited to hear about the men's and women's teams and their successful runs recently.
Absolutely, yeah. We only support elite programs at the University of Michigan, and the basketball programs are members of that category, unlike the football team. And so, Thanksgiving break brought us the Bad Boy Mowers Battle for Atlantis, a very exciting tournament with some elite programs competing, including Michigan, who ended up winning it all. And luckily we have a member on the show today who actually went to the Bad Boy Mowers Battle for Atlantis, Jack Morrell, here to talk about the tournament in detail. So Jack, how was your experience in the Bahamas?
Wow, amazing. The sun was shining. By the way, Jake loved the turtleneck.
Jack, thank you. That means everything.
Sun was shining, weather was great. Dickie V was out on the streets just like getting anyone who wanted to be in a video to post on Twitter. It was awesome, baby. But man, you know, it was really fun. Feast week is a good time, and who could pick a better sponsor for our tournament than Bad Boy Mowers? Totally appropriate given the time of year.
Great company with some high quality mowers.
And so, you know, it was a good time for Michigan basketball. Thanksgiving week, not really something we associate with basketball here, but it's going to have to be from now on. Good opening win against Iowa State. We started to let them back in at the end, but ended up holding on. And then the day that matters, Thursday, Thanksgiving. You know, we always have worries on Thanksgiving Day. Will Uncle Phil come through and actually show up? But for me this year, it was will the basketball team show up and beat a really highly ranked team in North Carolina? And they did. They played really good basketball.
Absolutely.
It was a lot of fun to watch, kind of change up the tradition of watching the Lions lose, even though that, of course,
we could do that if
happened
we'd
as well.
wanted to. Yeah.
But they were happening at the same time, so you kind of had to choose one.
Right.
But another good win for Michigan basketball. And then Friday was another big one. Gonzaga, a team that's consistently at the top, right there with North Carolina, and another good win for Michigan. Just some really good promise in the team. We went from low expectations to all the expectations, especially with, of course, the statistic that the last two teams to win the Bad Boy Mowers Battle for Atlantis have gone on to win the national championship. Now we are in that spot to keep that streak going. So
yeah, the stakes are high. I know the odds of us winning a national title were like 80-1 before that tournament. So not that I have a gambling addiction or anything like that,
yeah,
but
'cause you don't.
I'm sure those odds have declined significantly now.
Yeah.
So it was great to see the Wolverines succeed on a high level against those teams. But on a neutral court, you know, that helps a little bit, just everyone being kind of on a similar level of like uncomfort. So I love seeing them win, but I want to see them do it on the opponent's court as well, as well as at home. So.
Yeah, maybe do it outside of a ballroom and in a real
with
gym.
Real ceilings.
But really
and
cool
fans.
for the team and all of us who went to the Bad Boy Mowers Battle for Atlantis to check out the Bahamas and see what it was like.
This segment.
Yeah,
how many times
right. We don't do a lot of sponsorships here, but no free ads. But here we go.
Right.
So.
Okay, well, I think that's all we have time for today, Jack. Thank you so much for
yeah,
coming in.
Thanks for having me. Of course, again, love the turtleneck.
Thanks again.
Happy holidays.
That was Jack J. Morrell with the Battle of Atlantis update. So in addition to that, we are fortunate enough to have Wolverine Alley-Oop official women's college basketball analyst Peter joining us today. Sliding on set effortlessly. Pete, it's been a while. Great to have you back after the break.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Jake.
So, women's basketball update, you know, the men are the ones getting a lot of attention right now, but the women have sort of, you know, not dropped off from their preseason status. So a couple big games recently. You want to talk about Notre Dame, obviously the biggest one, which was in Ann Arbor, and then Eastern Michigan as well recently.
Yeah, absolutely. So Notre Dame, really unfortunate loss for the Wolverines. Really took Notre Dame to their level and brought it to a level of basketball that we haven't seen Michigan play this year. But unfortunately, with 24 turnovers throughout the game, the Michigan ladies just couldn't really bring it throughout the four quarters, and unfortunately fell a tough game at home. Would have been a real statement win for the program, but unfortunately could not finish it off. After that, though, they rallied back with two strong wins against Eastern Michigan and Morgan State. showed a lot of depth from the entire program with all players pretty much logging minutes. We had 3 scorers in each of those games reach double digits and really showcased a lot of depth from the entire program.
Yeah, and great stuff there. Good to see the Lady Wolverines bounce back. We know how big that a win over Notre Dame would have been, but even just to see them, compete like that with the program at that level, we haven't really seen that from Michigan women's program in recent years. So great to see there. And then big game tonight, actually, at home against Syracuse. Correct? Want to talk a little bit about that one?
Yeah. So Big Ten ACC Challenge. Syracuse unfortunately dropped out of the rankings this week after a tough loss last week, but would still be a huge win, as Syracuse looks to be a contender again this year. Michigan could really use those big out-of-conference wins in order to bolster their tournament resume. So let's hope they can get a win in Ann Arbor tonight.
Yeah, let's hope so. Again, good stuff. Pete, our official Wolverine LU women's college basketball analyst. Always great to have you on, my man. See you soon.
Great analysis from Pete, who happens to be a women's basketball practice player. So he might be the second best basketball player on the show behind myself.
Oh.
So we're honored to have him in our
It's really hard to argue with those details. It really
Exactly. Exactly. Well, we also have another guest on the show today to talk about the Big Ten ACC Challenge for the men's side, and Allie Marsh is here. Although it wasn't an amazing tournament or amazing game for Michigan against Louisville, they were the #1 team in the country, and we were on the road after playing. It was our 4th game in 6 days, so definitely a tall order. What were your main takeaways from that game, Allie?
I mean, I think, like you mentioned, fatigue was definitely a big part of that game. The Wolverines didn't look as sharp as they did against Gonzaga. The ball was moving much less in the offensive end. And we saw a lot of minutes from players that we haven't really seen get that much time, like Brandon Johns and stuff like that. And I think it was just a result of their fatigue and them being tired from not only just playing all that basketball, but traveling.
Right.
Those kids were in the Bahamas 3 days before they had to face Louisville at the Yum Center.
Right.
So
and I'm sure they were, enjoying their victory, their tournament victory. It's hard to kind of mentally get back on the grindstone and practice and be ready for that big game against Louisville, kind of coming down from that high of winning the tournament. But I know Juwan Howard mentioned that they're not going to make excuses. It was a bad loss, but I think they'll spin it into a learning moment for the team and hopefully rebound even stronger against an upcoming schedule that's pretty difficult.
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't too concerned. Would have loved to see them win, but I mean, their shots weren't falling, and like I said, I think they were tired. So I think it's an easy game to rebound from. Hopefully against Iowa this Friday.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show tonight, Allie. We hope to have you back on soon.
Yeah.
Have a good night. And that brings us to the end of our guests for today. Jake, you have anything last to say before we shut it down?
No, I mean, for me, great to have 3 absolute experts on Wolverine alley-oop legends on Wolf TV. I mean, there's nothing else you can ask for. Great stuff from all of them, as always. But for me, Philip, it's been a long time since you and I have sat here together doing this. So for me, the thing I'm most thankful for this holiday season is to be right here next to you.
I appreciate that, buddy. Good to see you, Jonathan. It's been really nice doing the show with you as well. And that's all we have for today. So thank you all very much for watching, and be sure to catch our other programs on Wolf TV.